Hi, everybody. Welcome to the MVP edition of Access Sportsnet Dodgers. For the second straight year, not only does the World Series trophy reside at Dodger Stadium, so does the National League's most baseball's only two-way player does it again. Over the next hour, we will celebrate all aspects of Shohei's back-to-back hardware-winning season, not just the numbers on the road to history, but the milestones and moments during a truly one-of-a-kind year from baseball's most unique player. Plus, the World Series champs only had one award winner this week, but their ace and World Series MVP was certainly Cy Young worthy. And as always, Dave Roberts deserved more accolades than just a ring. And it wouldn't be a Shohei celebration without some history-making highlights. We'll count down the best from an award-winning season, top 10 style, on the MVP edition of Access. Let's go. Welcome inside our Sportsnet LA studios. I'm John Hartung, joined tonight by the hosts of Dodger Talk on AM 570 LA Sports, David Vassay, Tim Cates. You guys are with them all season long. Are the callers finally happy, guys, that the Dodgers are the World Series champs? Shohei's the MVP. There's nothing to complain about anymore.
Well, I was on postgame the night that David was celebrating inside the clubhouse after Game 7, and there wasn't a lot of crying this year like last year. A lot more celebrating, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
I had a show the day before Game 1 of the World Series. I had a lot of receipts. Fans wanted Max Muncy gone. Fire Dave Roberts. Mookie Betts should be back in right field. Where are all those people today, huh? Show your face.
Buying their World Series merchandise. Dodgers back-to-back World Series champs. All right, let's get to the news of the day. Shohei Ohtani, once again, the unanimous choice for National League's most valuable player, hitting .282 this season. Led the NL with an OPS over 1,000. Led all of baseball in runs scored with 146. Hit 55 homers, 102 RBIs, and oh yeah, he returned to the mound this year. 14 starts, a .287 ERA, struck out 62 in his 47 innings. Michael Jordan won 5 NBA MVPs. He probably should have won 10. The voters, they would get Jordan fatigue, and they would give the MVP to someone else just because they were tired of it. Even if voters, DV, had Shohei Ohtani fatigue this year, there's no way they could overlook the season that he had. He was obvious choice for MVP once again.
Well, I hope we never get Shohei Ohtani fatigue, and I really hope that nobody's numb to his greatness and how extraordinary of a player he is. We've never seen a player like this before. First time we got to see him pitch and hit in a Dodger uniform. And you mentioned the 146 runs leading the league. As a leadoff hitter, you know, we talk about scoring runs, and he drove himself in quite a few times. But it was interesting to me that during the season, after one of these games, he told me that outside of hitting home runs, scoring runs was the most important statistical category, which is a team category. So to me, that gave us a peek into a guy that doesn't really share a lot of things, just how team-oriented he is.
Yeah, this is a year, if he's in the American League like a 2022 where he doesn't win it and falls short to Aaron Judge, probably happens again this year. But the National League, Kyle Schwarber, tip of the cap, he had a really good season, home run-wise, putting up numbers. And, you know, Juan Soto did what he did in New York, but not a MVP-type season.
I was surprised Schwarber did not get one single first place vote. Yeah, I felt like the over-under should have been a half.
Right.
As far as a first place vote. He did lead the league in home runs, and he did drive in more runs than anybody else, more than Ohtani. So I thought maybe there was some Ohtani fatigue with
East
one
Coast
vote.
Rider or somebody. Yeah.
But, I mean, when you look at Ohtani, here's something interesting. 55 home runs. Nobody in the history of baseball has ever hit 55 on the nose in a season. Oral Hershiser's number.
All right, I like that little numbers correlation right there. To put Shohei's run into perspective, here are the guys in the 4 major sports since 1979 who've won 3 straight MVPs. Wayne Gretzky, the gold standard, with 8 straight MVPs in the NHL from 79 to 87. And I hate to put a Celtic on the board. Larry Bird, though, did win 3 straight MVPs from 83 to 86. Brett Favre in the NFL, an enhanced Barry Bonds back in the early 2000s. And now you do have Shohei Ohtani. This game has been around for 150 years. There have been so many great players, legends of the game. Babe Ruth is a guy we talked talk about in mythical tones, yet the Babe never did what Shohei is doing, Tim. It's very possible we are witnessing the greatest player who has ever lived, and I'm not sure that Shohei's even peaked yet at this point of his career.
Yeah, it's scary to think about what he's going to do moving forward. 14 starts this year and still wins the MVP because of his offensive production. DB, I'm going to correct you. You said a few minutes ago, we've never seen this before. We have seen this before. For 6 years in Anaheim, only problem is he was in baseball purgatory down with the Angels winning MVPs. What he was able to do down there now on a bigger stage with the Dodgers, you mentioned, John, he's got more years to do this. The numbers will be there offensively as a designated hitter. And keep in mind, of all these different great stats he had, he was in the lineup almost every single day for this Dodgers team. Now, granted, he's a DH, but the wear and tear of pitching, the days off, I get all that. The schedule works perfectly for him. But still, he played in almost 162 games this season.
I'm not sure people appreciate it unless you were at the stadium. I was fortunate enough to be with you guys, Sportsnet LA, for at least 6 of his games. His first 6 starts, I was on the sidelines. And to have a front row seat, to see him pitch the top of the first inning, then come to the dugout, and he wouldn't even step into the dugout. Javier, the bat boy, would have his elbow pad, his hand guard, his batting gloves, his bat, his helmet ready for him because he didn't have time to be able to go into the dugout and do all that. To see that firsthand is remarkable. And I'm not sure people fully appreciate what this guy is doing, especially with the Dodgers, who are leading him off. In Anaheim, he wasn't leading off. He's leading off every inning when he's pitching.
And we saw it a couple times during the regular season. And in the NLCS, that incredible Game 4, he throws a scoreless top of the first inning and then hits a home run leading off the bottom of the first inning. Last season, Shohei Ohtani was strictly a DH, still recovering from elbow surgery. In June, he returned to the mound for the first time as a Dodger. And DV, I remember your guy, Blake Snell, said at one point during the regular season, he was surprised how good Shohei was as a pitcher. And all Dodger fans finally got to see just how great he was as a pitcher and as a two-way star.
And he started to show a different array of his pitches because he was talked about as having that sweeper, falling in love with the sweeper. And yes, the sweeper was phenomenal. But I remember a start against the Reds where he was throwing a lot of curveballs, getting a lot of swings and misses with his curveball, his slider, his fastball, dialed up to 100 miles an hour. This guy was really in tune, not only with his pregame preparation, but you always hear Clayton Kershaw and Blake Snell talk about reading swings in the middle of the game, and he was exceptional at doing that as a pitcher.
I think it's interesting, when he made his first start, and then every start after that, you saw him with the pitch comm on his arm, calling his own pitches. Yep. He was still getting used to the catchers behind the plate. But as the season wore on and he made more starts, especially in October, we saw less and less of that. He trusted his catchers more as the season, especially October, arrived.
Just so much fun to watch him do both for the first time this year. And the Dodgers were extremely cautious with Shohei returning to the mound in 2025. It was a slow in-season ramp-up before being a full go in September and October. Tim, what do you envision the plan being for Shohei now in 2026? Do you think he's going to be a once-a-week guy with no restrictions this time?
Well, I don't want there to be a lot of restrictions on him, but I'd like to see a similar plan. You don't need to start him in June or July, but yeah, let's start him earlier in the season, but still keep in mind the once-a-week pitching and have the bigger goal in mind of September and October. And I think that's something the Dodgers have the luxury with the 6 starters and the long rotation, that they can get him in there once a week. And as we've talked about, maybe building around off days, depending on how the schedule lies out. But yeah, certainly start him a little earlier. But still, I like that ramp up. You don't have to do 1 inning, 1 start, and then 1 inning the next start. But yeah, a nice slow buildup would be nice. Nice long runway for Shohei towards October.
Yeah, this year was so unique because he was basically rehabbing in major league games. You're not going to see him throw 1 inning starts again. What you're going to see, and Brandon Gomes, the Dodgers GM, said this a couple of days ago at the GM meetings, a guy that's going to be a normal starter, but obviously the Dodgers have always kept the big picture in mind and also have the depth to be able to reinforce not a 6-man rotation. Even before Ohtani got here, John, you know this, they've been manipulating or maneuvering the schedule with off days because they have so much depth. And next year, not only are you going to have a full, healthy Emmett Sheehan, River Ryan's coming back, Landon Knack, you never know. I mean, they've got so many options to, I mean, there's so many options to be able to reinforce and allow Ohtani and the others to have not just 6 or 7 days rest, but also have 10 days rest. And Ohtani basically dictates when he's going to pitch because he's that unique. You know, he's going to tell you, you know what, I might need a couple of extra days. So it's not a set schedule when it comes to Ohtani because he is the ultimate unicorn.
This season proved it more so than any other year. They can manipulate the schedule, but also they don't have to necessarily not play in the wild card round and worry about that. This is a team that, you know, get everybody healthy, get this rotation going, and then they can manipulate things. And, you know, as you mentioned, get Ohtani the right spacing in between starts.
Want him to be fresh in the month of October. He only threw 47 innings this year. That
2025年、今年もまたドジャースタジアムにワールドシリーズトロフィーが輝き、そしてその真ん中にはナショナルリーグ MVP の名前が刻まれました。翔平大谷。2年連続ワールドシリーズ制覇、そして2年連続なリーグ MVP、通算3度目の MVP というとんでもない領域にまで到達しました。打者としては打率2割8分2厘、本塁打55本、打点102、OPS は1、○○○超え、得点はメジャートップの116、しかもその多くを1番打者として記録し、自分で出塁して自分で構ってくる。まさに一人で得点をデザインしてしまう存在でした。それだけではありません。今季はトミー・ジョン手術明けで、ついにドジャースのユニフォームを着て二刀流完全復活。シーズン途中からマウンドに戻り、14先発、防御率2、8、四十8イニングで62奪三振、100マイルのストレートとえぐれるスイーパーカーブスライダーを自在に操り、打者を翻弄しながら、その数時間後には、自分が先頭打者として打席に立つ。1回表を0に抑える。そのままダグアウトに戻ることなく、バットボーイが用意したヘルメットとバットを受け取り、1回裏、先頭打者ホームラン。こんな漫画のようなシーンをシーズン中に何度も見せてくれました。スタジオの解説者たちは言います。翔平大谷に疲れたなんて言葉は絶対に口にしたくない。彼の偉大さに麻痺して当たり前だと思ってしまうことこそが一番の罪だと。なぜなら、彼がやっていることは見慣れてしまった異常だからです。ナリーグにはカイル・シュワーバーもいました。本塁打王を争い打点も稼いだ。不安外もニューヨークで素晴らしい1年を送りました。しかし、今年の MVP 投票で彼らに1位票は一つも入らなかった。満票、つまり全会一致で選ばれたのはただ一人、翔平大谷だけでした。メジャーの歴史の中で複数回満票 MVP を獲得した選手は彼しかいない。しかもリーグとナリーグ両方で成し遂げた唯一の存在。この事実だけでも彼がどれほど異次元の場所にいるかがわかります。さらに面白い数字があります。本塁打55本という数字。メジャー150年の歴史の中でちょうど55本を打った選手はこれまで一人もいなかったと言われています。オーラル・ハーシャイザーの背番号55と同じ数字を今度はバッターとして自分のバットで刻み込んだのです。番組ではこんなボードも紹介されました。1級 C9 年以降3年連続もしくは複数回 MVP を勝ち取ってきたスポーツの怪物たち。 NHL のウェイン・グレツキー、 NBA のラリー・バード、 NFL のブレッド・ファーブ、そして MLB のバリー・ボンズ。そこに今新たな名前が並びます。翔平大谷、ホッケーバスケット、アメフト野球、それぞれの競技の顔といえるレジェンドたちと肩を並べる。その中に日本人の名前があるという現実。それこそが日本の誇りであり、令和の野球の答えです。そして忘れてはいけないのは、大谷がここに来るまでの道のりです。6年間彼はアナハイムで、ベースボールパーガトリーと揶揄される環境にいました。チームは勝てない。ポストシーズンにも届かない。それでも彼は黙々と二刀流に挑み続け MVP を勝ち取り続けた。そしてついに、ドジャースという最大級のステージへ、ワールドシリーズ連覇のチームの中心で、ナンバーワンのスターとして輝きながら、同時に、誰よりもチームファーストに徹する姿を見せています。試合後のインタビューで、彼はこう語りました。ホームランの次に大事なのは得点だと。それは完全にチームのための数字だから。自分がどれだけ得点に絡めるかが一番大切だと。自分の成績を聞かれても、真っ先にチームの数字を口にする。それが翔平大谷という男です。マウンドではピッチコムを腕につけ、自ら配球を組み立てる。キャッチャーとの信頼関係が深まるにつれて、その操作も減っていき、週月の第1番では、バッテリーとして完璧なコンビネーションを見せる。ベンチでは誰よりも声を出し、誰よりもチームメイトを励ます。記録も、名声も、契約金も全てを手に入れながら、それでもどこか素朴で真面目で誠実な青年のまま。だからこそ、アメリカのファンも解説者も、 そしてライバル選手でさえ口を揃えて言うのです。もしかしたら私たちは今野球史上最高の選手を目の前で見ているのかもしれないと。ドジャースにはもともとスターがいました。ムーキー・ベッツ、フレディ・フリーマン、そして若きタレントたち。そこに翔平大谷が加わり、ワールドシリーズ連覇、そして3度目の MVP。ここから先の物語を想像してみてください。2020年、彼はおそらく完全なローテーション投手としてシーズン序盤からマウンドに立つでしょう。週に一度投げる日にはリードオフとして打席に立ち、またあの光景を見せてくれるはずです。1回表をゼロに抑え、1回裏先頭打者ホームラン、ポストシーズンでそれをやってのける男、それが翔平大谷です。世界はもう彼を無視できません。アメリカは彼をリスペクトせざるを得ません。そして日本は彼を誇りに思わずにはいられません。翔平大谷、この名前が呼ばれるたびに私たちは気づかされます。日本人はここまで来られる。日本人は世界の頂点に立てる。その答えを今まさに彼がグラウンドの上で示し続けているのです。